harder than ever and still falling farther behind. But why is that? It's very confusing. But we're working harder than ever because the salaries that we're making just do not cover the cost of living in America today. If the cost of living is right next to the average salary, then we're never going to have any savings. And if we don't have any savings, the people in charge are always going to be able to control us. So the fact that we don't have any money really comes down to that means we have no leverage, right? That's really the problem. If you don't have any savings, if you don't have 3 months of savings, 6 months of savings in the bank, you have to keep working that crappy job. You don't have the leverage to say no. And not only that, you don't even feel free because you can't even afford meat at the grocery store. You can afford to go to the doctor, but you can't afford your prescription, right? No wonder Americans are stressed. Because then when we point that out, what ends up happening? The media denies us. They lie to us. That's not what's happening. It's you doing something wrong, right? It's you doing something wrong. But no, they turn the tables on us to try to make it feel like it's our fault because they want us broke, because if we don't have money, we don't have leverage. That's what it really comes down to. You can do everything right, work for a successful company, but at the end of the month, you'll barely have enough left over after food, housing, and healthcare. And that's where type me if you feel that, because they make us stay silent about it because America's got one rite of passage. It's making your own way. And it's only when we don't make our own way that we stay quiet about it. Because then why do we stay quiet? Because the moment that we talk about it, they make us feel like it's our fault. Oh, you should be working harder. Oh, you're already working 40 hours a week for a company that made $10 billion last year. Work harder. You should just budget better. You're not budgeting good enough if you can't afford healthcare, if you can't afford food. It's like, are you kidding? This is a rigged carnival game. You walk up thinking it's fair. It looks like it's all on the up and up. You were told by your parents that it was fair, but you keep missing and you keep missing. And the carnival guy laughs and the people in line behind you, like, what's wrong with you? But then later you realize the game was rigged. And it's like all of that pressure just goes away, right? That's what it is. So it's all of us that are feeling this way. It's all of us. That's why we type the me in the chat to let people know. And Matt, what they try to do is they try to make it look like there's 1,000 different problems, right? Oh, we're taxed too much. Oh, it's foreign influence. Oh, it's the media. Oh, it's the housing crisis. It's all the same thing. Because whether the corporations are owning the politicians, or the corporations are owning our food, or the corporations are owning our pharmacies, they still control us. And that's where we are coming together and showing people the economy doesn't work for us. All of us only participate in this economy because it's literally all that we know. That's it. But then there's nothing without us. That's what's so frustrating, is that they can't build anything without us. We could go and try to make something better, but nobody knows what something better looks like because this corporate crap is all that anybody's ever known, right? It's where my 80s babies, we heard about it, right? We heard about it from our parents. Life didn't used to be this way. Shit, people born in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they saw it. We barely only ever heard of it. And that's what's so crazy. The stock prices have gone up for what, 50 years? Stock prices go up, salary stays the same, and they act like you're the problem. Nice work. I appreciate you dropping that me in the chat, because, man, it really is frustrating that everybody in America feels this way, This is a lot of the reason why we're so divided politically, because Americans are working their ass off. We realize that we are working harder than ever and still falling farther behind. And what do? We look for somebody to blame. That's what we do. We look for somebody to blame. And when the media and politicians and orange people point fingers, well, it's not just dropping nice work. We're actually building a community. We are building a community to push back against this, because corporations really don't do that much. We're the ones in charge. Like I said earlier, they can own the factories, but unless they've got 1,000 people to work at those factories, they ain't producing shit. And what it really comes back to is leverage. They don't want us to have savings, because if we had 6 months of savings, we could say no when they started making us work overtime. We can say no when they start treating us like crap. Carlos, I've got a productivity versus pay, and oh my God, it's ridiculous. But that's the whole thing, is why does our effort not equal outcome? Why can we be so productive that we see the productivity go straight up, but then our damn salary stays the same? And they want us changed because if we don't have savings, we don't have leverage. Y'all know what leverage is? Boycotting and striking. Boycotting is just leverage over where your money goes when you spend it. That's it. Boycotting is just leverage over where your money goes. So they made sure that we couldn't boycott them. They took away that leverage. Striking is just leverage about where your hard work goes. We can't boycott, we can't strike, so we have no leverage. We don't have any leverage to negotiate. Stop paying taxes only hurts a few people. So what you're trying to fix is the bystander problem. You're not going to get a bunch of people do something that could be incredibly detrimental to you personally. And if everybody else just happens to do it, then you'll do that too. So R's daughter, we go to the Discord. We aren't belonging to a food co-op. We are bringing together people like you that want to sign up to belong to one. So you come into the Discord, you ask some questions. It'll probably be Googling where a food co-op is in your area. So the Discord link is in our bio. If you go to the TikTok page where it says black out the system, right in the profile it says Discord link. And that's where you'll meet all the other people that are a part of this, where we come together to form that community. And we build it out by state. So hopefully there'll be some people in your state that can kind of take you by the hand and answer any of the questions. But that's what it is I'm kind of like so yep. And then that's where it's best to come into that Discord. You'll have groups of people, community, helping you figure out how to move forward. It's a lot of what people's first question is. Hey, what can we do? And it's connect with people in your area. And that's what the Discord is. Because really, I mean, the hard truth is there's nothing you can do on your own that's going to make a difference. It's the hard truth. We can do as much as we can to change our personal choices, and that will go a long way. It is not without merit. But in order to actually work towards solutions, we need other people. Yes, the Discord link is in the bio. So what we are talking about is why working 40 hours a week no longer gets you ahead. And that's because the people up top realize that if we don't have money, they have leverage over us. Because if you don't have savings, if you don't have 3 months of savings, if you don't have 6 months of savings, we don't have any leverage. And that's what it is. So R's daughter. So this each and every day is really me kind of going over the same couple of things. This is where we meet every Sunday to answer all the questions. Today, we're meeting at 1 p.m. So that's where this isn't, I appreciate all the questions and things like that. It just is I have a very set, pieces of information that I try to get out today. So I think you're asking more questions, but I'm not sure what you're asking. So we'd have to go back through. I'm on multiple different platforms as well. So we do meet every single week. Jamarific, great to see you. We do meet every single week. So because we don't have any leverage, Fruit, it's not hard. We don't have any leverage. We can ask for whatever we want. But until we're in the position to demand something, they're just going to do whatever they want to do. And that's why this is so frustrating. That's why this is so hard. In the past, we just needed to be loud enough. We just needed to get enough people to pay attention to us. But that was when the politicians worked for us instead of against us. Now the politicians and the corporations are working together to make sure that we don't have any leverage. And boycotting is just leverage over where you spend your money. Striking is just leverage over where you work. So they took away our two biggest strengths, our leverage to boycott, our leverage to strike. And then when we point this out, when I point this out, what do they tell us, right? You just need to work harder. You just need to budget better, right? And the link is also right there too, Ars Daughter. I'd love to talk to you more in the Discord to answer some of your questions. And it's just so insane because the game is rigged all along. But what's so crazy is I think of the American economy like a broken down car, right? And the people up top, they need us to push that car. They need us to push that car to get moving. But every time we push the car that is the American economy, the people driving it run over us. Fruit, we depend on corporations. It's so funny when people say that because all they have to do is CVS has to say anybody who is causing strife right now is not allowed to buy medicine anymore from our pharmacies. That's it. All corporations have to do is say anybody that is protesting is not allowed to go to our grocery stores anymore. That's power. It's so funny. People are like, oh, let's just do this. Let's just do that. We don't control our own food. Haven't you ever heard the saying like an army runs on its stomach? Well, a nation runs on its stomach too. And if we, the people, do not control our food, that's why we can't do that, Fruit. Because we don't control what we need to live. That's really what this all comes down to. We will never have leverage as long as we depend on them. That's it. And most of us don't want to depend on them. They've set up the system in a way that we have to depend on them. And Broken Killjoy, I don't even love calling it mutual aid networks. It's like stewardship. It's small businesses. It's taking back ownership or stewardship, getting rid of the ownership. Because that's where it's just so frustrating right now because unless we take back our economy, they're going to continue to screw us over. They've already ran all the local general stores out, right? There you go, Fruit. That's the kind of thinking that we like. But we need to start small, right? So that's where I went too. But we need to start smaller because people aren't going to go in on 17 acres with a stranger, right? You've got to develop those connections first. You've got to become friends before you find people to buy 17 acres with. That's really the section that we are on now. Right now, we've got people all across the country writing letters to the editor together, right? That's what it is. It's no collectivism whatsoever. People get so scared. People get so afraid. You mentioned something like, maybe in a situation where corporations control our healthcare and then actively don't give us healthcare just so they can make more money, right? That's it. So y'all, let's use this as a little. So we got a commenter here on TikTok, Dog That Bites, that believes that there's millions of ways to beat corporations. Mom and pop restaurants are doing it every day. Those restaurants buy all their food from a corporation. It's called Cisco. Go look it up. Not only that, over 85% of companies on the S&P 500 have the same three top shareholders. So no, mom and pop shops aren't. And if mom and pop shops were actually competing with corporations, that would go a long way to giving us back the ability to have leverage over our dollars, which is called boycotting, because the main reason we aren't able to boycott effectively is because the mom and pop shops are gone. It's well known that Walmart got rid of all the local general stores. They lowered their prices, ran them out of business. Now there ain't no more. Hardware stores, same exact thing happened with Home Depot and Ace. The big people came in. Oh, economies of scale. We can offer you lower prices. No, what we'll do is screw over this community because we make money in 1,000 communities. So we know that as long as that local hardware store is there, customers are able to walk out of our store and go to that local hardware store. Dog, you've never even wondered, why don't? It's so funny being a business owner arguing with somebody who has literally never done business. So what this is all about is you've never even had the question in your mind, why don't Walmart employees smile at me? Walmart made $10 billion in profit last year. Dog that bites. I'm a self-made man. I have the American dream. I think everybody should have the same opportunities that I received, right? That's what it is. And then look, these people get mad. All we're saying is your healthcare insurance company shouldn't be incentivized to deny you care. Why does that make you so upset? Your grocery store corporation shouldn't be incentivized to gouge you on food prices. That's it. And then look, this makes so many people upset. Ask yourself that. Corporations put sawdust in our Parmesan cheese. And I just think that's fucked up. Because the only reason they did that was because they don't care about your community. They don't care about your family, right? That's the problem. Corporations, the corporate states of America, in our country, we incentivize corporations to screw over communities so their shareholders can make a little bit more money. In the corporate states of America, our health insurance companies, it's called health insurance, deny us care. Right? No, fruit, because what we're trying to do is get to build something so that people don't feel like they're using taking a leap of faith. It needs to feel like, oh, this isn't a leap of faith, right? Well, Ty Hub, the funny part is I meet so many business owners on here. Because what it is if you're actually a business owner, what it is, you love your employees. Because I found out, holy shit, I can't be in all my locations at once. All these people, literally everyone that comes to work for me every day makes me money. I fucking love them. And then what you do is you think about what's going on. Why is that reality? Is it going there for you? So, no, it's not even Marxist. It's just why can't you look at corporations critically? That's the thing. Why does it you can't see me? Can anybody else not see me? That's all it really is. You should really look deep in your heart why this frustrates you so much, why it makes you so mad. Thank you, everybody else. Maybe he's getting me some comment traction. No, so absolutely, yeah. Somebody on YouTube said, "Oh, Paladin, prices skyrocketed during the pandemic. The supply chain was blamed, and then the prices never came back down." And that's all we're saying. These corporations are literally incentivized to screw you over. So let's talk about how we got to this situation, right? Let's just talk about how we got here. Because we didn't always have corporate grocery stores, right? No, Jason E. It's more likely. So what it is, people that have been stepped on by the system also defend the system because of racism. So what it is that they cannot say that they're a victim of the system, because that means that they are like those people they don't like, right? So what they do is they jump through hoops and spin around so that they are not victims. Their brain will not let them be, right? So that's the funny thing, is that the system has stepped on them, but because they don't want to be like people they've deemed as lazy, they can never admit to themselves, oh, maybe I have been getting screwed over. But that means that those people that I called lazy for the last 40 years were right. Teresa, we have a whole community of people that think like you. The Discord link is in the bio. And let's take it one step further. What is up with this life? What's the point of a society? We know what you think, dog, so you can lay off on this one. What's the point of a society? It's not so that just 1% of people can have 50 yachts while the rest of us struggle for bread, right? That's the problem. That's the problem. People are not understanding that life doesn't have to be like this. It's kind of stupid that it is like this. We leave the jungle, we come together, we're like, all right, whoo, that jungle period was tough. We've built societies now, we've got farming. Let's make sure that we work together so that we all have enough. And then a small group of people, been happening a long time. We used to call them kings and queens. Before that, we called them pharaohs. Now we call them billionaires. And those small group of people, you know what they did? They cooperated. They cooperated. That's what it is. And that's the lie that the kings and the pharaohs and the billionaires want you to know. If you suffer, that's good for you. Man, if I was a king, right? That's what you'd be saying. Oh, peasants, the more you suffer, the more likely you'll get to heaven. It's so insane. When it's actually, if you give somebody what they need to live, their food, their housing, their healthcare, they're actually more productive. You know how I know this? I've got 30 employees. I could make it so that all those employees are on minimum wage and barely scraping by. And I've got to have my hands in the pot 24/7 to make sure nothing goes wrong. They're stressed out. I'm stressed out. That's what it is. Or you could pay them enough to live. The business is happier. The employees are happier. There's two ways to set up a society. Number one, I know, Ty Hub, isn't that so funny? Suffering, good. Living with all of your needs met, that'll make you soft. As somebody who's lived with all their needs met, what it does is when you have a full cup, you're able to fill up the cups of others. If you've got enough food, if you've got enough housing, you don't look at your friend and are like, I'm going to take some of theirs. You're like, do they have enough? Because if you build a society where everybody has what they need to live up to their fullest potential, people will always excel at what they do. People will be able to work for the common good, to create some cool shit, to innovate, to educate, not just to make money. It's kind of silly that the point of our whole existence is to make money so that we have enough food and housing to live, right? So Earth Rocker, you're 100% right. To us, money is a tool to get food and housing and healthcare. To the ultra wealthy, money is a scoreboard, right? Money is a scoreboard. Path of Resilience, you are wrong. Everybody would be in this situation if they could. It's just that somebody that is born to a factory employee is going to get a completely different education, experience, and environment than somebody who's born to the factory owner. And that's what's so messed up, is we don't provide equal opportunity. What's crazy is when people are born with physical differences, we do provide equal opportunity, right? If somebody is born without legs, we don't tell them, just live your life, good luck, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No. If somebody's born without legs, we're literally like, oh, you're at a disadvantage. So we are going to add a little bit more funds to the common good so that you are able to overcome your disadvantage because you had no say in that disadvantage, right? That's what it is. Path of Resilience, you're not understanding. So you are still of the mindset that the person that starts the business takes all the risk and therefore they get all the reward. What I am talking about is after the company is making $1 billion a year and the owner already has $1 billion in their bank account. The Walton family is great. Path of Resilience, your taxes for the last 5 or 10 years were higher because the Walmart company chose to not pay healthcare to their employees. Now, Walmart made $10 billion in profit. So they could have very much paid for their employees' health insurance. But what they did was they purposefully shifted that cost from Walmart's bottom line to the American taxpayer. Because all they need to do is underpay their employees, call their employees lazy, and then people like you will say all this. So that's what the problem is. And then here's what you're not seeing. All of those employees who don't make enough money because they work at Walmart, Walmart employees have to shop at the place with the cheapest items. So you're not seeing how Walmart has essentially created a company store. They only pay their employees so little that their employees have to shop at the places with the lowest prices. Well, because Walmart is in 10,000 communities, they've got the low, and because no monopoly laws are enforced, they've got the lowest prices. So they are literally trapping their own employees in shopping there. Yet you are just saying all of this. So, and this is where, as you'll see, so I'll go ahead and put it up now because they're coming in droves. So you'll see that people's understanding of this situation is not driven by stupidity or any of that. It's driven by their environment and their education. It really is. So we got two people here that are denying that there's any problem in America today. That people are just lazy, really. That's the problem, right? I know. I thought I saw you there, Tone. Let's have a little, oh man, Sundays always seem to be our day. So here we go. Well, that's totally fine. So Freddie, and that's where it's so funny to me when people deny others' reality without any like proof. So that's why I literally came up with this, because I deal with the path of least resilience and the dog that bites every single day. So and that's fine, Nana. You can believe that. What's so funny is that people say this like it is fact. That's where right up here in the middle, underneath take, people respond differently to the system based on their environment and experiences. So that's what's so funny to me is the people who say, what? People are just lazy. There's no problem. Okay, your environment and experience was differently than mine. I'm not here to debate you. I know how difficult it is to get Americans and adults to change their mind, and I don't feel like doing that. So what I would like to do is talk to the other 90 people here. Let's put some me's in the chat if you are feeling this rigged system. Let's show these 3 people that thinks everybody's just lazy. So we've got 4 groups of people. Well, there's just no problem at all. There's nothing wrong. I'm doing just fine. The people I know are fine. This is just the way things have always been. Or the problem comes down to personal choice. Y'all are doing something wrong. Just work harder. You're not trying hard enough. You don't have the skills. It's not the system. It's just people making bad decisions. And that's where we don't really need to care about those 2 groups of people, right? Because I'd rather care about the people that have taken their heads out of the sand and are like, yo, let's come together to fix this. I'm sure we have got these tiny, minuscule differences. But let's put those aside because we're arguing about the color of the paint when the damn house is on fire. So let's start paying attention to what's important. Tony, my friend, how you doing today?
Good morning, Corey. How are you, man?
I am happy, feeling good, excited to have my co-pilot up.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're just going to have to kind of hammer on some of the same points for a while until the class catches up. And that's okay. You say, why do we care about those two groups of people? And that's because we need as many people on it as possible. And as somebody who's been in the space that we're talking about for 20 years, long before social
YouTube, I am pulling some people up on our other streams, so I will close out of here. Appreciate everybody so much. Paladin, thank you so much for following us on here. It means a lot. Thanks, everybody. Bye.